You can become way stronger in Wuchang Fallen Feathers by improving your healing items, knowing how to get the most out of your weapons, and understanding the many interesting and unique mechanics this game has to offer. I've already played a ton and I want to help you avoid some of the mistakes I made during my time with the game. One thing you'll notice quickly is that Wuchang pushes you to play pretty aggressively because of the Skyborn Might mechanic. Simply put, if you do a perfect dodge, you'll get a stack of Skyborn Might, marked by these feathers on the bottom left of your HUD, which is a resource you spend to fuel various skills and spells. However, each weapon type also has their own way of generating Skyborn Might, which is unlocked through their respective skill trees. So don't make the mistake of ignoring these skills, as building up Skyborn Might quickly will be a big help in any scenario. Your starting weapon, the longsword, already has an easy way to build up more resources, as after unlocking the Sword Saint skill node, the second attack of your light combo grants a stack of Skyborn Might. One-handed swords allow you to simply generate might over time, so perfect if you want to play a bit safer and keep your distance. Plus, there are plenty of ranged spells you can use to harass the enemy from afar. Definitely look for the weapon type that synergizes with the way you play, although you can of course equip 2 at a time and switch between them mid-combat, allowing you to stay versatile as well. And speaking of versatility, the skill tree also allows you to unlock new combat moves and ways to spend your Skyborn Might. One of my favorite early combos became available after I unlocked the Wind Force skill for my longsword. This allows me to spend 1 might to trigger a quick charged heavy attack, which normally takes some time to wind up. But they are incredibly powerful, pushing most enemies away while dealing heavy damage, and if you hit an enemy in the back, you'll immediately stagger them, allowing you to follow up with a powerful obliterate strike. So with these 2 early skills unlocked, you can hit an enemy twice, then circle around and strike them in the back with a quick charged heavy, followed up by an obliterate strike. This even works on some bosses, so don't make the mistake of underestimating your charged heavies, especially if a weapon has a skill that lets you charge them faster. And good to note if you haven't picked these skills yet is that you can respec your skill tree at a shrine. This also gives back all material spent on upgrades, because certain nodes of the skill tree require a special item rather than a skill point to unlock. You'll find some of the most important ones in the left branch of the skill tree, which is not related to any weapons but provides general upgrades for Wuchang, like the first node that raises your maximum Skyborn Might stacks from 1 to 3. Not only is it very useful to be able to stock up on multiple points, some spells even require multiple stacks of might in order to cast them, so you'll need this upgrade in order to use those. Right next to this node, you'll find the mana capacity and mana potency skills, and ignoring these is a big mistake you want to avoid. The capacity node adds more uses to your mana flask, and the potency node adds more healing per use, and both of these can only be unlocked with a specific material that I have only found in the special golden chest throughout the world. But that does mean that you only have to be able to reach the node in the skill tree, and then you can activate the upgrade once you have the material. You don't need to invest another skill point in it as well. The same is true for weapon upgrades, more on those in a bit by the way, but just making sure that these nodes are available for whenever you find the materials is in general a good idea. And I want to go over healing a bit more, because you only start out with 3 health flasks, which is a bit of a problem considering how hard enemies can hit. Luckily, Wuchang offers a lot of consumable items that restore health as well to complement your healing flask. Make sure to slot some of these in your quick access bar, because you don't want to be stuck in a menu mid-fight trying to access these, and of course make sure to explore to find more of them, as they are sure to come in handy. Another neat thing about this game is the way weapon skills and upgrading work. There are multiple different weapon types like axes, spears and swords, and as I said, there's a skill tree for each of these. Each weapon also has a discipline skill, which is tied to the weapon type, and you can unlock new ones by investing in that specific skill tree. You can swap them out at a shrine, and you also want to inspect them in the weapon menu, as many skills also flow into a combo if you follow up with the correct inputs. Each weapon also has a weapon skill, which is tied to the individual weapon, which makes finding new ones very exciting, as they're effectively adding a new move to your arsenal. And you want to experiment with different weapon skills, as Wuchang has made a very clever mechanical change that means there's pretty much no downside to doing so. Rather than upgrading your weapons individually, you're actually increasing your mastery over a weapon through the skill tree. So that means that if you upgrade, say, longswords to +3, every longsword you find will then be at +3, and you can immediately swap it out to check if the new weapon skill fits your playstyle better. So feel free to experiment, and don't underestimate how powerful these attacks are, as there's another neat trick you can do that ties into these that I'll go over in a bit. And real quick, if you enjoyed the video so far, be sure sure to leave a like and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss the next one. Now, while the game is not open world, exploration is still very rewarding. Next to the usual chests and items, you also want to keep an eye out for these birds, which you can find at random spots pretty much anywhere in the world. When killed, these drop an item called an aurum feather, which grants you a random temporary buff that increases either your max health, max stamina, or max damage when consumed and lasts for 30 seconds. Always nice to have some extra points in one of these stats, even for a bit, so make sure to keep an eye out for these birds throughout the levels. Keep in mind that some of them might appear out of reach, meaning you'll either need to use a throwing knife or a ranged spell, and they also don't seem to respawn, meaning that you can't farm for this item by making enemies respawn at a shrine. Now let's go over that combat trick I mentioned, as another way that you can use your weapon's special attack is by using a move called Swift Draw. If you press the left stick with at least one stack of Skyborn Might, you will quickly swap to your offhand weapon while also activating that weapon's unique skill. Smart use of Swift Draw allows you to extend your combos while switching weapons mid-sequence, so it is a good trick to master to expand your combat options even further. You'll also find skills to upgrade Swift Draw in that left branch of the skill tree that you want to invest in anyway. Most of these are tied to the madness mechanic though, which is really important to the game in general, so let's go over how it works. Now, Wuchang is of course a Souls-like, which means that death is inevitable and it usually comes with a drawback, although like with weapon upgrades, the game gives quite an interesting twist to the system by introducing the madness meter. Rather than losing all your currently held currency, you only lose a portion of it, and you can of course recover it by returning to the spot where you fell. But next to the risk of losing some of that red mercury currency, dying also increases your madness. You can check your current madness status from the character tab of the menu, and there are two specific thresholds that you want to be wary of. One is being above 50%, as from that point on you will drop more mercury when you die. But the big one is reaching 90% madness or more, as at that point death becomes a lot more consequential. You lose all of your currency on death now, and when you die there is a high chance an inner demon will spawn, a demonic entity that you will need to defeat in order to reclaim your lost mercury. You will of course lose those resources if the demon defeats you, but after either dying or vanquishing it, your madness resets to 0 and you start with a clean slate again. So the first mistake you obviously want to avoid is not paying attention to this mechanic and making sure that you manage it properly. You can find an old lady praying in front of a statue in the Shoe Sanctum, the second hub that you will reach early in the game. This statue allows you to offer it specific items to remove your madness, and if you talk to the lady, she'll actually give you one of these items for free. Killing specific types of enemies, such as key bosses, will also help to lower your madness. However, there's another mistake regarding this system that you want to avoid, and that is not looking at the potential benefits of having a higher madness score. You'll already notice that being on a high madness increases both damage dealt and taken, but there are also a ton of skills that grant additional effects when playing with your madness above a certain level. Think increased damage or the ability to restore health or stamina on hit. So there's a big risk reward factor here, and it's up to you if you want to play it safe or risk more while also receiving more benefits. If you have any tips for Wuchang, feel free to share them in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and if you want to see more gameplay, you can check out our live stream of the game by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.